figure out how to turn this damn thing on. Man, that is so much better. It was like, God damn, I don't see how we do this shit with that horrible sound. So,
Yeah,
so what did
the
you say
Rift does
about
that.
wanting to change your name to Karen?
Why am I a Karen?
No, I didn't say you were a Karen. I thought you admired Karens and you wanted to change your name to Karen. I thought that's what you said. Are you sure? Are
Do you
you
know what?
embarrassed?
I actually was thinking about the Karen thing yesterday because I was delivering, I was working,
Mm-hmm.
and I went into a liquor land, and there was a woman who was being a Karen. She was complaining about something. She was like, "This is what it says on the website. This is what it says on the catalog," and da da da. And this like dude is kind of just this young guy is kind of just like trying not to like roll his eyes and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is kind of unfair because like women for a long time weren't allowed to have opinions, and now it's like
You
they
mean it's
can't
like
have
a
opinions anymore because they're Karening. So it was like such a brief window where women were allowed to complain about stuff, and now they can't because they're a Karen
yeah,
if they do.
but like you thought she was being a Karen, right? Or were
I
you
know.
saying
I'm not
this is typical behavior that they would say about us being Karen, so they would oppress our opinion? What?
kind of both. Like at first, I was like, "Oh wow, we've got a Karen situation," and then I was like, "That's so wrong of me to say that. Like, that's so bad." Because women are allowed to complain without being a Karen.
Are you sure about that?
Yes,
Depends on this
I'm
on
sure.
the situation. Uh, a woman can complain about a dude sometimes.
What? What are you talking about?
Like if she's trying to be like, okay, so if there's dudes that are outside that are having a barbecue that are uh, men of privilege, then yeah, it's fine. It's not going to be a Karen situation. It's going to be complaining about dudes out there having a barbecue. But if
Why
there's a
would she
bunch of
complain? Why
minorities
would
out there,
someone? Why would
that's
someone
the whole.
complain
This is where
about?
this all. One of the things that it started is when there was some black people having a party, and a
Mm,
white woman was complaining that they were like doing some like they were having some gang thing or just something that was just so racially charged. What she was saying, and they were
yeah.
just at their own house, and then that's where like the Karen thing kind of took off.
Right, that's it. But now it's spread to
Like
like all
anytime,
women complaining anytime, even if it's not got anything to do with
anytime
like
we
I can
can,
understand that that's bad. Like you
right?
can't, obviously the first Karens were racist, but now every woman's like a racist Karen type if she's complaining about just like something that's legitimate, and it's not good.
When they say like the way the American law, one of the big things is if you let like five people go that are guilty, but you're going to prosecute them or whatever, and they get away and they're guilty, but one person who is actually not guilty and is put in prison, that's the travesty, right?
Mm.
So it's the one person. So if they call them all racist, we'll catch the one person. And it's completely opposite of that. I'm
So
sorry.
it's
No, I'm just joking.
uh,
It's completely opposite. But so I was thinking about this, but in a different way. I was like listening to something, and um, they were talking about this dude having what is that thing they say about like dudes now that don't have women or whatever. I forgot what they call them.
incels.
Yeah, incel.
Yeah.
They were saying he had like incel energy, and then all these people were like dogpiling about. And I was like, it's not that we've stopped bullying; it's that we choose who we want to bully. It's the same
Yeah.
bully energy. I mean, it should be if I don't want, if you don't want bullies, it should be universal. We don't want bullies, and we
Mm,
shouldn't bully people. They're just using different language to bully. They're doing virtue bullying. Like if someone has
yeah.
incel energy, then let's pile on him and call him an incel and whatever, and then drive him to go crazy and shoot up a McDonald's or whatever they do.
Mm.
So the same thing with the Karen thing. It's just another way to bully. Besides oppressing, opinions of women, it's another way to bully. calling
Yeah.
you something you don't want to be called or whatever. And it's just this interesting thing, I think, that
Yeah. I
we're
guess it's
supposed to be
human
pest.
nature.
Yeah, and all we did is refocus who we bully. Like it's not okay for kids to do it, but it's okay for adults to do it when they pick the right person to bully.
But
Like
that's the thing that kids are doing it. Like kids do. That's when you start it. Like you can't not have bullying in the school. Like that's where it begins.
but ideally they don't want bullies, Ideally we don't want a world with bullies or whatever.
No, ideally we don't. Because well, everyone says that because no one wants to be the one that's getting bullied.
Oh, that's
But
Jace.
we still can't help bullying.
Jace thinks you're wrong, by the way. He just
Hey,
said how wrong you
Jace.
are.
He did not.
Yes, he did.
Thanks for popping in to say hello.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, so that made me feel bad about myself with the whole
The whole
Karen
Karen thing you
But
found.
even yeah, but then even so, my son will call Ren, my 3-year-old daughter, a Karen.
See,
It's like a big thing.
yeah, that's
It's bad.
that is bully energy.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, it
messed up.
is.
Right. And I think people don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody sees it. It just caught my eye today to watch people like dogpile on somebody who was doing something wrong, but the answer to bullying isn't bullying, and it's just like the answer to violence isn't more violence. Or I mean, I guess it can be in some situations, but it's very rare. And that could be argued about. But anyway, generally, we want a society where we don't counter with the bad thing with another bad thing.
Yeah.
In general, So it's just weird.
It is weird, and humans are like, even though we do want to bully, we want to do it in a certain way because we're conflict averse usually. So it's weird. We're just weird. Like we want to bully, we don't want to be bullied, but also we don't want confrontation either.
It's like anything.
We're
We want to
complex.
bully when it benefits us, and
Yeah.
not bully when it doesn't. And it's all
Yeah,
about our
and be left
stuff.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in the this also the same thing happens. So, in a world of in board games, right? If you're given a task and like the resources that you need to do the task or whatever, so you do the task, right? So, in a game where you don't know the task, I mean, you don't know the resources it's going to call. It's revealed at the end. You just kind of like do your best, and you just get resources, and then something will say, okay, you didn't know it was going to cost 5, and you didn't know what they were going to be, what colors, whatever. Okay, so if you relate that to real life, and this is going to be Moe going really sexist. We know that, like, whenever they're looking for stars, they have a shelf life, and in that shelf life, it's like between this period, and this period. Well, if we take off that shelf life and we say, well, the ceiling's the limit, so you can be a star any age you want to be past, legal age, we'll just say, and you don't have to look like so and so. You just have to make it. Okay, now the resources are unknown. You don't know. You don't have like something to strive for. I mean, yes, there's going to be a lot of people that say, well, I can't have the perfect body and I can't be the perfect age, so I'll never be a star. Well, let's take that out. Okay, so now it's based purely on skill, so you have to be the best of the best and then roll the dice without any criteria to go by at all. At all. Because, I mean, I can look in the mirror and say, I'm too ugly to be a star. It's not going to happen. I could be a character actor, but I'm not going to be a star.
I was about to say, like, is that really the case? You're talking about, so stars, what's a star? Like a major, you're saying that the only major actors are 10 out of 10 looking? Or what are you saying?
No,
Because I don't
no.
think that's I don't think that's true. Like,
It's
I
not
cannot be
true.
a character
It's not
actor.
true. But it is. But we do judge stars that way. We do like. It's not up until now. It's not uncommon for somebody to say, she looks way past her prime or something like that. It's more common to say that about a woman than it is a man. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's right. and let's say we remove that, which would ideally is what we want to do. Now, though, you have there's going to be people that I'm saying there's people that that felt like they had a chance, and then all of a sudden now they have no chance at all because you've taken away their chance.
Why have we taken away their chance?
Okay, so let's say if it's judged mostly on beauty and it's judged between a certain age. So let's say they strive for that. Well, now we take the ceiling off and we say, well, now, all that, forget about it. It's all about how good you are.
So you're saying you feel really sorry for the people who are 10 out of 10 but can't act because they should be stars.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
it sounds like that's what you're saying.
Sure, I want 10 out of 10s that can act. That's what I want.
Yeah, I thought so.
To star in all the Transformer movies I love to watch. Those. No, I'm just thinking about how. Okay, so we want it to be averaged out, and we want everybody to do it based on talent, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, we want it based on talent, not just on looks.
And this is in all fields. Obviously, we want the best person in all the best positions. Yeah.
Well, let's specifically talk about movie stars. In the movie star profession, I think we want it to be, averaged out. We want more representation, and more representation in all ways, including like ugly people or whatever. Whatever you think is ugly, they should have a chance at it. Or whatever, I don't know. So think about if you were one of the 10 out of 10s and you had a chance. You had a chance and your window is gone. Because now you don't have the thing. You thought you had the thing. It's like being really smart and then everybody, all of a sudden, we're not testing for that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that,
but I don't think it's true.
Don't feel bad for them.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it works that way because I don't think...
Obviously it doesn't, but I'm just joking.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to think about. That's a Moe thing. I think because of that, because we're looking more at talent, then it's fine if you jump. Yeah, you might have been hot like 10 years ago, but it's like, well, you can still make it. These 10 out of 10s can still do it, even if they were 10 out of 10 before and they're not now. You can still do it. That's the beauty of it. Anyone can do it now. Anyone can do it.
That's not necessarily true. So check this out. And this is something me and Brian talked about. And this might be slightly related, might not be related at all. Okay, so let's talk about names. Names and people of privilege. If you have privilege, you don't necessarily see the power of a name. The power of the name is so important that, like, if you're a minority and you turn in a resume, first thing they look at your name. And if your name is like a minority name, like let's say it's Tyrone, let's say it's Armando, let's say it's whatever, then you are classified before the rest of your resume. I don't want to live in that world, and maybe it's not like that as much now, but it still is a thing. The first thing, it's a name, and then where you went to school. Those are two very important things on a resume. Yeah. So if you were of privilege, you would not know that. You would not know how important your name is, so you would call your kid Anakin or whatever in the fuck you want to make your kid's name.
Anakin?
That's an actual name from
Yeah, I know, but you don't think that person would be judged? Come on. I think they would.
No, they would be, but they did. But the person giving the child the name doesn't know the struggle of having having these name problems.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. To call your kid, let's say you call your kid Prometheus, and your kid goes to school. And besides, like, I don't know if the kids that get bullied now would be like the Steves and the normal names, and then all the kids with fancy names, or maybe they unite and have this big gang war of like fancy names versus non-fancy names. I don't know how that world works, but whatever it is, their parents didn't foresee the world, or they didn't care about their kids going to school and having to deal with this name issue.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're already at a point where I can go and put my resume in and it's not going to matter what it says. I don't
Yeah.
think we're there. I don't know, but I don't think we're there. The
Yeah,
world
we're
I want
probably
to
not
live
there.
in has to do with skill,
Yeah.
but I can't show that skill on a resume. I can
Yeah.
list off shit tons of skills, but so can anybody else.
Yeah. It's a really difficult thing, and we are very judgmental. I know that sometimes when I'm like driving Uber, I can see that people are judging me. Like I'll pick up some food from someone who's like 20, and I'm sure they're looking at me like, why, how did you fail at your life or something? They look at me like that. Like, how did you fail so hard at your life that you're
Driving
driving
Uber?
Uber at your age or whatever?
Huh.
And they have like no idea of my situation.
Right, right, right.
And um and yeah, I guess that is another thing that happens like when you hand in a resume. Like, you really don't know that person.
Not
You
at
really
all.
don't. And so yeah, like you said, you're going to find anything you can to judge this person, and that's really sad. That
Well, see, that's the
yeah,
interesting
having a
thing. When you started
mm.
that, I thought you were going to say that they saw my name and they was like, "Oh, how did you get a norm name? I've got a cool name. How did you get that? So you must be old. You got an old name."
No, it
Not,
wasn't about
not
my name. I do remember one time someone said to me, because so I used to do modeling, and you have to provide your composite photos or whatever. Like, you have a card that's got all your stats on it. It's got photos of it, yourself on it. So when I like went for jobs, I like thought of putting like a photo on my resume,
hmm
because I thought that was a thing that you did. And then I remember this lady I worked with was like, no, you never do that.
right.
Never put a photo. Like, you're
Like,
going to get judged so hard.
well, it's almost like a guarantee you wouldn't get hired. It's like
Right.
almost a guarantee. Like
Yeah.
how could you have gotten hired and then your looks not taken, I guess, not been in the equation and your pictures in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in
Yeah.
America, that
It's
would be
so
like
weird.
so bad because you can't. Like I imagine it's there too, where you can't. There's a lot of reasons why you can't discriminate, and like it would be age, and then a picture would show your age, and then scary. But yeah, that makes sense. That's an interesting story. That's pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start doing that.
What? Putting your
Resumes with
photo?
no pictures in it. Well,
Will you
no, see, like
smile?
it's no. So you don't have to put your own picture.
You're gonna catfish? You're gonna catfish
No,
them?
no. Okay, so let's say it's illegal to hire you based on your looks. You put a picture of somebody else in there. They hire you based on your looks. You say, and if they give you shit about it, you're just like, well, that's illegal. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to
You
hire me
can't.
based on my looks. You didn't know what I looked like, but you sent the picture. That didn't have to be me.
That is so funny. You
It's
can't
where
say
my mind
anything.
goes. That's where my mind goes. But yeah,
You know,
so
you want to know something kind of messed up?
sure.
I went for this job, and the lady who hired me, she had like a young son,
hmm
and I was I was too scared basically to say that I had a son as
hmm
well, because I didn't want them to be like, oh, she's going to take days off because kids get sick and
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever,
There's
whatever.
definitely
So
stigma with the mom. There's a stigma, social stigma with the mom at it
I
when you
know
hire. Definitely.
it's so bad. So I had to pretend that, and then because she was like really lovely, and she was asking me kind of about who I was. So it was like a team of only 4 people. So she wanted to kind of know a little bit about me, I guess, because it was going to be such a close team or whatever. So she was asking me questions like kind of about my life that was a bit more like less career related and more
hmm
about me.
hmm
And so it felt so weird that I didn't tell her though.
hmm
And then I basically waited until after my probation period ended
Yeah.
before I said anything. And then it was so weird.
Really.
Yeah, because it was obvious. It was obvious that I had not told her this thing.
hmm
Like, we were all pretty close. And by the way, she was like the best boss I ever had. But yeah, I even then I
And
didn't
she
want
didn't
to.
act different. Did she treat you different after she found out you had kids or whatever?
No, she didn't. I think she was kind of disappointed and thought it was weird. But
She was disappointed, huh?
yeah, well, I probably should have trusted her. Like, in hindsight, obviously, but I was, I wanted the job and I was protecting myself. And what can you do?
Yeah.
It sucks that it's like that. So, Jesus, oh, that's funny. Yeah,
I
right.
I really, really, really wanted a face tattoo. I really did.
What?
Before it was a craze,
What?
back in my 20s, I wanted one really bad
On your face?
on my face.
Why?
Why
What
not?
did you want? What did you
Um,
want?
it would have just been okay. So this sounds really shitty now, okay? Because now we're like 20, 30 years later, so it doesn't sound cool anymore. Like, okay,
It doesn't
so
sound cool anyway. But
oh, Bob Wire. No, I'm just kidding. Um, tribal wasn't a thing yet. Okay, I had seen some work that was Polynesian, and I really thought it was cool. It was before everybody started doing Polynesian work and stuff, and it was still, I'd seen it in a documentary, and it looked really cool. They showed like traditional ways of doing it, and it just wasn't a
before
huge
cultural appropriation.
yeah. So I saw some Polynesian thick line stuff, and I was like, I would really love to do that kind of thing. And I didn't get any tattoos at all, just kept putting it off. And I was like, well, I'll wait until the music career takes off. It never took off, so never got any never did anything. And thank God, because everybody started doing tattoos, and now tribal is just, it's McDonald's, you know, it's so, what do you call it, Mackers or what?
Meccas.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah. I wanted a face tattoo at one time.
That's crazy. Why on your face though? Like that's extreme. You don't have to do that. But I am pretty sure you're like the only person on the whole planet that's into like death metal and stuff, and you don't have a tattoo. You've got to be the only one,
I'm pretty
unless
close.
there's someone with like a blood disease or something where they can't get a tattoo because they'll just bleed to death or something.
I don't know. It's just, you would think, but I think I'm a meme. I'm pretty sure I'm
You're
a
a
meme.
meme.
Yeah,
Which meme are you?
I remember reading something, and it was talking about like this band, some new death metal band, and it was a reviewer talking about a new death metal band, and it was like, but if you're one of those guys that wears 501 jeans, and they basically describes me. You're not gonna
He
like
knows
this.
you.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, I'm a meme.
That is so funny. But what was
Yeah.
he saying about it? What was he saying
It was
about
just,
you?
he was saying that this was too different. It was like, it was closer to Prague, and it wasn't true that I wouldn't like it, but he was saying like, if you fit a mold, you probably won't like this because you're not breaking outside of your mold. He was basically making fun of death metal guys that didn't listen to experimental music.
Right.
But
Right.
like for me, the profound thing is that he picked me. Like I fit this list.
You were wearing that exact
I was doing the
outfit.
thing. Yeah. It's like that time when I told you me and Lyndon went to the Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and you know we were just like looking to see what kind of game thing that was going on, and we were leaving, and then we realized that he fit in. Like
Who
that
fit in?
Lyndon fit in because he
Lyndon?
had like a Wolverine cap, and he had some comic book shit on his shirt, you know, and he just like blended in.
What, he was trying not to be a comic book nerd, but it just
We didn't even think about
happened?
it. It was just, it just
Yeah.
happened to be the right day and the right time, because he didn't
Yeah.
always wear the Wolverine cap, and he didn't always wear comic book shirts, and it just was the perfect
No.
blend. Oh, and cargo
He's usually wearing a
cargo shorts.
board game shirt. He
Yeah.
used to have a lot of board game shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's
board game
funny.
shirt thing,
Anyway, should we talk about games? I was appalled by something,
Uh-oh.
which was
Okay, before
okay,
you go,
what?
before,
Right.
you know when we did that little, before we started recording and we started like talking to test the thing, and you were telling me you wanted to be a Karen and all that stuff? Remember that? Well, okay, so during that conversation, you were explaining, I asked you just so that you could talk, and so you were explaining some things about Golem.
Mm-hmm.
To me, not that we won't do that, and not that we're not going to do that, and everybody's not like me, that is the most snooze fest thing for me ever. It's when people start talking about how a game works.
Babe, you're
feel
doing
like
it
passing
again.
out.
You're fucking doing that thing again.
What am I doing?
Where you like, where I do something and then you're like, I hate it when people do this, and I'm like, that's the exact thing I'm doing.
Yeah, but like, I'm just saying in general, I know people like it. I know it's
You
a thing.
asked me a question. You were like, what does this mean?
No,
what does
yeah,
the
and I'm
arrow
not trying
and
to
this fucking
criticize
thing mean?
you.
And I was explaining
I know.
what that meant in the game.
I know,
I was
then-
not trying to take you through the rule book. Okay?
I know that. And I'm not saying that you were. I'm just saying in general, whenever like I listen to Punching Cardboard, when I listen to Punching Cardboard and they say, okay, so this is, 2 to 4 players, and then I'm still listening. And then they
Yeah.
say it's done by so and so, and then I'm starting to fade out. And then they start saying it was done in whatever year, and then they say, well, basically, and then they go through what they're doing. And it's like, there's no way you can describe this for me to understand it. Like, there's no
Yeah.
fucking way. It's just
Yeah. I can't see
half-assed,
it.
and
I
I'm
can't
falling
touch
asleep.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. I used to do that a lot more on the podcast
It's
as well.
hard. It's
And
hard
then
not to. It's
it's
hard
hard
not to.
not to because it's weird to. But now where everyone gets on and stuff like that, it's much easier to have a proper conversation, just talk about stuff and not have to go into mechanics of things and whatever. I
It'd
had
be
no idea what I was doing. I still don't.
it would be way more interesting. Like if you know how have you ever read those memes that are like describe a game badly?
Yeah.
Yeah, taking a cue from that. I mean, not necessarily describing it badly, but you describe it in a way that it doesn't really say what it does, but it just sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, you were going to say something annoys you, or that something perturbed you, something. Before I went
I don't know.
on,
You just annoyed me. So
I annoyed
now
you.
I'm distracted.
Let's talk
Like you
about
asked
me.
me about the mechanics. You asked me about it.
I'm not criticizing what I asked you. I'm
I
just
know. Oh, the thing that appalled me was that I played
appalled. Uh-oh.
appalled.
Appalled. Uh-oh. This is
Oh.
serious.
Yeah, I played Sid Meier's Civilization,
Mhm.
a New Dawn game.
Mhm.
And the mechanics were like exactly like Ark Nova. And I have not seen any acknowledgement of this at all. And it appalls me that Ark Nova is so incredibly, ridiculously popular. And there is no acknowledgement at all. And I know mechanics you can't copyright and all that stuff, but like a little bit of this was inspired by this. I think that is important.
Like a
And
nod.
it sucks. Yeah, like a nod to that. Like, I played that and because it's got to be. It has to be. There's no way. Like, it's way too similar. That 5 card shifting thing, it's exactly the same.
I had
I
played.
don't think it's cool.
Yeah, I had played Civilization New Dawn or whatever, but I didn't remember it. I didn't remember it because the game is okay, but it wasn't amazing, so I didn't. For me, it wasn't amazing, and we only played it once. And
Yeah.
I think it just kind of
It's not amazing.
right. And then everybody made Ark Nova so popular, so we actually played that a few times. I was not. I'm not into the game that much. It's okay. I'll play it if somebody asks. Um, so I can't say that I remember it being the same, but I trust you since you were just recently read it or whatever.
Yeah. It's exactly the same. You have like 5 cards. They are more powerful the more they move to the right. When you move one, you have to shift it back
Yeah, I kind of
to the
remember that.
start and move them along. It's exactly the same. And it's just, like you said, the game was not that great. But I feel like if you've paved the way for something,
Acknowledge it.
that you should get some acknowledgement. Yes, Ark Nova is probably better than, I would say it's probably better. And I didn't really like Ark Nova that much either. But it saddens me. It saddens me that this game kind of paved the way for Ark Nova. Ark Nova is so friggin' popular. It's crazy how popular that game is. It is literally crazy how popular that game is. Like, it's not that good. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. So, like, what's the deal? Why not?
I don't
Why
know.
not say?
What if they don't know that they did, or what? I don't know. I mean, do you
Like it
think
was
they have to?
accidental?
I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
So is the question is where's the limit? So like if you come up with a game, usually you have like 5 or 6 different mechanisms that are taken from other games. Do you acknowledge all of them? Or it only matters when one game is really popular, it makes it to the top 10? Is it only games that are within a year of each other? When do you acknowledge it?
I don't know. I guess
Where's the
that's.
limit?
I don't know. I mean, you can't go, oh, I've got a bidding mechanic, so I have to credit every game that had a bidding mechanic before
Well,
me. Like that.
obviously
But
not.
this is very specific. This is a very specific thing. I don't
So,
know. Like you said, it's too blurry probably, and that's why people just don't bother doing it or
or
whatever.
is it that if your game is too popular, then you need to point out your own flaws? If you Arc Nova, you got to say, well, this game is good, but, I didn't do it all myself.
Yeah,
You
that would
want
be nice, but
You'd like Arc Nova to have some humility, stop being so
yeah,
good.
I would like it to have some humility, but
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I
A
don't
little
know.
bit. But who has humility these
Yeah,
days?
nobody.
You do.
That's
Just
so
you.
humble, so humble. I don't know. I get what you mean because it aggravates. Like I personally get aggravated when a game makes it to the top 10 and I don't see it or I don't feel it. But then, like, I don't feel that this is a top 10 game where this game doesn't deserve all the accolades. But I also pride myself as being original and liking things maybe that other people or seeing things that other people don't see. So I can't have them both. So it's
Yeah.
really difficult for me because I always bitch about all the top 10 games.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't used to. Used to, there was some really good games on the top 10. But a
Yeah.
lot of those got knocked out. Do you remember when Twilight Struggle was on the top 10 for so far? I imagine it's not on the top 10
Yes.
anymore. Is it?
Really? Isn't it?
I
It
don't
was
know.
on there for a long
I
time.
don't know.
Yeah.
But that was that I loved it when it was. And when
Yeah.
Through the Ages was on
Mage
there.
Knight was up there. Yeah, Through the Ages was in there twice. The new one and the old one
Yeah,
was
wasn't that
both in the top
amazing?
10.
Like
That was so
that
good. I haven't looked at the top 10 in so long. Has it really changed?
I don't know.
Is it all
I
just.
assume it has. I assume it has. Terraforming Mars has to be on there. Has to be.
So
I
this is the
assume.
thing that I worry about, that you know how you and I have talked about people who just listen to the same music like forever, and they never,
Mm-hmm.
like, they're still listening to the stuff they grew up with, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
it, and they never go out and listen to new stuff. Well, you and I are not like that, right? We listen to new stuff all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
what if we are like that, but only for board games?
Maybe, but in board games, it's much more rare. I think. Well, at least in the community or in the scene, it's much more rare to have that. It's much more people wanting to build on the newest thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so the parallel that I noticed was on Twitch today. Um, if you want, let's say I want to have a few people watch consistently, okay? One way to do that is to have the most current thing so that more people who are into that thing just now get their fix by looking. So,
Yeah.
like I was talking about Sonic, what was it? Sonic Frontiers, the new game that's on Switch. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a fuck ton of people on Twitch right now playing it. So if you want to
Right.
see what the game looks like, you just go on there. It's hard not to be one of those people because that's how
Right.
you get your goal. But then you really have to think about what do you actually want. It's not about just having people. It's about having people letting you do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to just play board games, well, playing the newest board game ain't that big of a deal. But if you want to play really good things or things that you really admire, if you want to dig into them deep, then it's hard to do that and be on the newest bandwagon thing. But you're going to get less
Yeah.
views. You're going to get less people interested in what you're doing. And you are basically that old person saying, I like Led Zeppelin. Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin was cool back in the day.
And still is forever.
Yeah.
Or you could do what you do and just go on Twitter and, like, stalk people and say, follow me on Twitch.
It doesn't work. Doesn't work at all.
No.
Well, I mean, I've got one dude, some wolf something. He actually followed me from Twitter. One guy.
Oh, okay. One. Okay.
One guy. He's
Oh.
awesome. Other than that, no. Nobody
Will he
cares.
ever watch? That's the question.
He,
Probably
he
not.
he's watched. What's weird is he's actually playing Sonic today. He's one of the people playing Sonic, and they were playing
Yeah.
Modern Warfare because that's also a new one, the latest Modern Warfare. But anyway, so he actually sat and just bullshitted with me while I'm sitting there designing the tequila game, which is
Oh,
really
that's cool.
strange because he's not really
Yeah.
into board games.
Right.
It's
That's
just like, so
cool.
what are you doing? Designing a board game.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, I don't know. I think It's really weird. It's hard to be in the middle in a, I guess, a moderate board gamer. It's hard to be a moderate board gamer.
Yeah, it's just that FOMO thing. The FOMO thing is just crazy
It's
in board
insane.
gaming. Yeah, it really makes no sense. But then, yeah, and I just question myself. Am I like getting really curmudgeon-y? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna play Terra Mystica till the day I die. I'm not gonna play anything else. You know what I mean?
But would the world be that bad if you were like that? Because somebody needs to keep saying, play the stuff you own. Quit making so much waste. Quit buying every new game. You're just
Yes, as
piling them up.
yeah, someone needs to be that person. But as long as I'm not just yeah, as long as it's the right frame of mind and I'm not just like, no, it's the kids who are wrong, you know.
But they are wrong. They're kids. I don't know. Okay, so like Marvel Snap comes out, and I'm kind of like jokingly talking about it, and then I notice that a lot of the board game people are playing it, and then I'm like, well, maybe there's something to it. I hadn't got into it or anything, and then I asked Lyndon about it, and he's getting into it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to sit it out. I'm not ready to take on another commitment,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
kind of
weird.
how.
I get like intimidated by it. Like if everyone's into something, I just think, nah, it's I don't know what I don't know what it is.
Mm,
I don't know what it is. It's
are you
weird.
are you trying to stay cool?
I don't think it's that because I don't think I've ever been cool and I
uh,
never will be cool.
mm.
But there's something about it that's off-putting to me. It's too loud. It's too. I
If it,
don't
if
like
it's
crowds.
if it's new, you're saying it's too loud. You're like an old person scared in the corner in a wheelchair.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. It's too much excitement. It's too loud. It's too many people getting crazy about something, and I think I've just been disappointed too many times.
Mm.
you know, where people
So
have been like, "Oh no, you have to try this, you have to try this," and then you do, and you're like, "It's not that good."
okay, can you name a game that actually made you like come to this realization that you like the old stuff? Like, can you remember? Like, was there a point, or you just kind of came up with it on the side, or
Well, actually, that's a good point. I was going to say this before when you were talking about the BGG top 10, because when I think it was how long ago now? I don't know, it was more than a decade ago that I started getting into like the Euro games and
mm-hmm.
actually get into the hobby because I had like a big break from it or whatever, where I was just playing games. But it was the top 10 that I went to like look at
Yeah,
what to play
back when it
and
mattered.
what to try. Back when it was Mage Knight and Through the Ages and Terra Mystica and Twilight Struggle. And basically that's what I did as I went and I got these games. I got all of
Mm-hmm.
those games and I played them. And yeah, so that's like it used to be that the popular games were the ones that were really good. And so that's why I'm like, there's something wrong with me because if it worked before, why doesn't it work now?
Yeah, I was
Or
about to
maybe it's just
say.
the shift. It's the shift of people, maybe like the shift of people that are on BGG and not the hardcore
Well, I'm sure
heavy
there's a shift, and
gamers.
games became more accessible to your average person, and
Yeah,
it brought maybe the level of complexity down a little bit, but
yeah,
also like I have this thing where I think a lot of gamers, once you're in it for a while, you start getting more complex, so your tastes become more complex because you understand more and more mechanisms.
yeah,
But
definitely.
and that if you liked games because they were some kind of puzzle that you couldn't figure out, then you're getting better at solving the puzzles at your level, so you need to join the next level. Your experience went up, so you go to the next level or
Yeah,
whatever, and you gain a new spell or
yeah.
whatever.
It only happens to a certain point, and then you're just like, well, this is how I game. I'm not that good. I'm just average.
So was there a point where you recognized that you were going to the top 10 and no longer did you care about those top 10 games, or
Actually, I
it
didn't
just
really notice. I just noticed now that I haven't looked at the top 10 for a really long time.
yeah, I would have no idea what's the top 10. I noticed a big shift. Well, okay, so like I remember listening to somebody talk about heavy games and going, they're talking about only the games I like. I think I'm a heavy gamer because the games they're talking about are the ones I like, and they're only talking
Yeah.
about heavy games. And I guess I made the realization that I'm a person who likes heavy games. And then uh, I've I guess no playing a few games, I've noticed that if it's just not enough for me, I'm just not going to be into it. If it's not heavy enough, if it's not involved enough, there's
Yeah.
not enough going on. So
Unless it's a dexterity game and you can flick some stuff or whatever.
hey, you leave those games out.
What?
Keep them out of your mouth.
I didn't say anything negative. I just said
Hmm.
that you like dexterity games. By the way, you're going to be disappointed because that block and key game Connor was talking about on the podcast,
Hmm.
it's just like a 3D puzzle. It's not a dexterity game so much.
No, I
Like you
didn't think it
have,
was a dexterity game.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
You thought I
Okay.
thought it was a dexterity game?
I thought you thought
It was a
that
dexterity
it was
game.
a dexterity
No,
game.
no, I saw that it was like a 3D puzzle thing. I just didn't know how
Okay.
deep it was. If it's not deep,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like it.
It's not
Whether the
deep.
oh no,
You just put a thing in and then hope that you get your whatever it is on your card. You
hmm.
got to make the pattern. I don't
And
think
it,
you're going to like it.
yeah, you're probably right. Unless it's like hard to make the pattern. How
I don't
hard
know.
is it to make the pattern?
I don't know.
Like Rubik's cube, you're just making a pattern, and it can be very hard if you're trying to make all the pattern.
Yeah, Rubik's Cube's are hard.
It can be,
Yeah.
or you can train for it. And I'm okay. I'm not past training for it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, that kind of defeats the purpose for me. You just
Really?
learn the algorithm and then you can. Yeah. This is what, like, if you play a board game so much that you're going to do the same thing every time because you think that is going to win you the game every time, then that's the point where that game is now boring
That's interesting
for
because I
me.
never put that as I never. Oh, yeah, I agree with you with board games, but I never thought about that with the Rubik's cube. So it's much more
Yeah, it
interesting to
is.
watch a dude that took 7 hours to solve it because he was using his brain and he didn't know the algorithm, versus the dude that took 5 minutes because he spent that 7 hours and uploaded it a long time ago and you didn't get to see it.
Baby, I don't want to watch anyone solve a Rubik's Cube. Okay, I'm talking about doing it myself. It's more fun doing it myself without learning the algorithm.
But learning the algorithm in and of itself is a
Yes,
task.
that is true. Yeah, that's true. I don't have the memory for that.
Mm.
It's too many steps.
That's why you got to practice. So it's just muscle memory.
Yeah.
I know what we're getting you for Christmas.
Oh, please don't. I have like
A
12
Steam Deck,
Rubik's
not a
Cubes.
fucking.
Yeah, Zoltan went through this like huge phase where that's what he wanted to do. Like he wanted to solve Rubik's Cubes all the time. So he's got like a 2x2 and he's got like a pyramid one and he's got like a tower one, which is like 4x2. And he's got one of those ones that's got, I don't know how many sides.
So he doesn't have a speed one yet, does he? Did he get like that deep where he saw like the speed cubes and the weighted cubes and all that shit?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
I think he's got a speed cube.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got a 5x5. He's got a lot of them. There's so many Rubik's
Wow.
cubes here, and then he got over it, and so
So now you just have
so
a
they just
pile
sit
of Rubik's
around.
cubes.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
I like the pyramid one though. Sometimes play with that one.
Oh, okay. So on our false start, you were talking about how you enjoyed Golem so much because you screwed up the rules.
Because yes, yeah. Actually, I like that game more now. I think I need to find out if I really did stuff it up because it felt like we couldn't pay for anything, and so we couldn't do much. It was really limited in the game. We had to keep killing golems because we just could not afford to have golems,
Mm-hmm.
so we kept killing them. And yeah, it was really tricky. And I think our scores were like 50 something. And when I put it in BG stats, it was like, oh, your best score is 118. And I'm like, how did I get 50? And last time I got 118. So I think we screwed something up pretty bad.
So did you screw it up this time or last time?
This time, I think this time
Oh.
we did. Because I didn't fully read all through the whole rule book again.
Hmm.
You know, I got cocky. I was like, I remember it. It's fine. We can do this.
I wonder if you'll be able to figure out where the rule fudge up was, or maybe it just
Right,
gets
like this.
better. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it does just get better. Maybe with two players, like because this is the first time I played it with two players, and two players I think does limit it because you have less marbles. Like there's the action selection is like this marble thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So however many marbles are next to that action, that's how many resources you get. And with like four players, you might have like five marbles in one row, and you can take that action, you'll get five resources. Whereas in a two-player game, there's a lot less marbles, and they were like if they're evenly distributed really well, there might only be like two marbles, so you're only getting like two resources. When in a four-player game, you would have got five, and you know what I mean. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it could just be that. It could just be that nothing. This is the thing. Usually, when you're playing a game and you're doing something wrong, at some point you're like, "This feels wrong," and it didn't feel like that.
Mm.
So maybe
Maybe.
maybe we didn't stuff it up.
Maybe it's better two player.
Maybe it's
Maybe.
better two player, and maybe it's just that thing that I told you about, how I get worse at games, not better.
Mm. See, I haven't played it, so I don't know anything about the game at all. At all. But
It's got a lot of tracks and upgrading your player board.
that usually is something I like. Except, how on the BGG scale, where do you put the weight at?
Oh, uh, 3.12.
Yeah, that's right on the edge. That's
Oh,
right
maybe
on
it's
the.
hard. Maybe it's heavier than that though. I don't know.
Okay,
It's all
so
skewed by how heavy you like games, right?
right. Okay, Madeira is 3.5. That's a good way to look at it. Madeira is a
Oh
3.5.
God.
The original Arkwright is 3.5. The card game probably like a 3.25, maybe.
What? The original Arkwright is not 3.5, babe. The
To me,
original Arkwright's 4.3.
I'm talking
Oh,
about to
to you.
me. To me,
Right.
yeah, I think Madeira is higher too, but to me, it's a 3.5. That's what I would call. For me, if I look at something and it's that hard, it's a 3.5.
Okay.
You could call it a 4, and I could move the scale up where that's a 4.
You gonna move your scale for me?
Yeah, I'll move that's a 4.
Oh,
So
so romantic.
I
Thank
know,
you.
I know, hands and knees, and I'm like, I'll move up my scale for you, but I'm not moving it down,
Only up.
only up.
Yeah, no, I think then if Madeira is 3.5, then it's a 3.12. I'm
Mm,
going to keep it there.
mm.
There's a lot going on, but it's not as painful as Madeira.
Yeah, I just don't think you have played it enough. It's so not
I
painful.
haven't. I haven't. But
You just hate on it. You just hate on it.
I don't hate on it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I literally needed you to tell me everything to do in the game. It was funny. I was
Mm.
like, I don't know what to do. Please tell me. Please help me.
Welcome to my world. That's
Hold
where
my
I
hand.
live. Every game, that's the way it feels like to me. Because as people start reading the rules, my eyes glaze over, and I have to actually play it to know what I'm doing.
It's very hard to play a game for the first time on BGA when it's a game like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think BGA, unless it's like a really, really, really simple game, like stupid simple, is a great
Yeah.
place to learn games. In fact, I can't learn games on BGA. I have to learn
Yeah.
them outside of BGA and then go on there. I still don't understand. It's a fucking two-player game.
Tashkala.
Yeah, I still don't understand
Yeah.
Tashkalar because I
Oh
learned it
my
on
god.
BGA,
That was so hard to teach you on
and
BGA.
I still don't understand it enough. I need to learn it in real life, and things would be different. I think.
Yeah. You think?
Or it could
Can
be
you do
one.
that then? I want to test that theory.
Yeah, yeah. You have the game, don't
Come
you?
at me, bro. I do.
All right, well, so we can do that in person and see
Yay.
if
Awesome.
I can win one out of 100 or something.
You did win one, didn't you?
Probably. I think you were like tired or something. I pissed you off, and then you just said "fuck it," and then I won. Hey, that's still a
I
tactic.
don't
It
think
works.
I don't think it was like that. I remember like trying to put pieces on the board and you just kept taking them off
Mm,
at some point. I
that's a
couldn't
good
do
way.
anything. I couldn't get anything on there.
That's a good way. I have a question about
Hmm.
uh your. See, I don't know your podcast people, the Board Game BBQ people. I don't know them, and I don't know them in the group setting. So, how do they feel, or like, are there? How do they feel about having food at the table, at the board game table? I know this is a boring
Oh,
question, but I'll make it more interesting.
oh, he's gonna make it more interesting.
Um,
Well, we are the board game barbecue, so it'd be wrong if we were like banning food from the table, wouldn't it?
really? You guys are all like, it's cool to eat on the table. It's fine.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
We had an issue with Connor when we all went away to the board game retreat.
You had an issue with Connor. Let's hear
he
about
just
this.
kept he just kept fucking spilling water on everything. He kept spilling water on everyone's games. So yeah, we did. Actually, we haven't picked on him about that for so long, so I'm gonna bring it back up.
Uh,
Yeah, he was shocking. He just kept tipping his friggin' drinks all over the place,
okay,
all
so
over big city big shoulders.
Jim from Pushing Cardboard, he is anal about his games, like hardcore. He doesn't want
Right.
the rule book folded the wrong way. He doesn't want anything. You can't have food. Like he starts having a heart attack if you have food near the game, and
Is he
so
like Brian, where he's got the perspex to put over the board so that it's protected?
that's not to protect it. That's to
Oh
flatten
yeah,
it.
sure.
No.
I reckon he pretends it's to flatten it,
Oh
but
no
really
no
he's
no.
super anal.
You know how many
Yeah.
times we spilt food and wine on that freaking table of his? So many times. So many times.
Yeah, and that's why he's got the perspex now,
Oh.
because he's like, I can't trust these people to friggin' control themselves.
So yeah, we were gonna play with one of Jim's games. Well, okay, so he has it so bad that it transfers over to other people's games. So if he sees you bending your own rule book back on itself, like breaking the spine kind of a thing, he starts
Yeah.
freaking out. But more like, so he gives Lyndon the rules for a game that he wants to play that he owns. He gives it to Lyndon, and Lyndon he just folds the rule book and puts it in front of him, and he starts having a fucking heart attack, like seriously. He starts losing his shit, and then
Really, even though
yeah.
it's Lyndon's thing.
No,
Hey,
this one
Gabriel.
wasn't Lyndon.
Oh,
Oh, what's up, Gabriel? What
it's
up?
been a while. It's been a
Yeah,
while
it
since.
has been a while.
Yeah.
When you type, do you get to choose the color? Is there a reason why your money green? That's what I've always wondered that. Because I know if I start typing,
Oh.
mine comes out teal or some shit.
No, I think it's rando. I
Oh,
think they just choose one. Yeah.
hey
What's mine
Gabriel,
usually? I know that yours, like you get censored. I don't know if you swear at me or not.
all the time.
Okay. Well, I know, no,
No,
I know you swear at me, but I mean, sometimes in the chat, it's like censored. Yeah,
really,
you don't get to choose.
I never say
Yeah,
anything
like
bad in the chat, as far as I know. I'm so
yeah,
bad
I
that I
think you
just like
must. And
start.
yeah, you swear so. It's so natural for you to swear that you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah, it's really weird. Anyway, what would we say? Oh, about the food thing and no, he was bringing
Yeah,
his
yeah,
own
yeah.
game, and then he he asked Lennon to read the rules for because Lennon reads the rules, so he read the dude's game and folded the rule book,
Yeah.
and he lost his shit.
Oh
It
no.
was bad. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh no.
It
I can't
used
wait
to.
to meet this guy.
Uh, he's a character. He is a
Yeah.
character.
Can't wait to meet you, Jim. You're not gonna like how I touch the games.
No, he's not. Yeah, like he doesn't like us when we're playing the game. We always have like wine at the table or whatever, and he fucking
Yeah.
loses his shit every time.
Yeah, I don't get that. But then again, it's disappointing when it happens. Like I remember, someone spilt beer on my friend's game, and it was the Game of Thrones game. So,
Mm.
well, don't really like it. I hate that game actually.
Which Game of Thrones
So
one?
long. Um,
The one that plays like
which one?
diplomacy?
Does it? Oh, I don't know.
There's
I
one
haven't
that
played
plays like
Diplomacy.
diplomacy, where it's negotiation
Really?
and shit. Yeah,
This is
it's way
kind of got
harder.
negotiation. Oh, this has got
Diplomacy's easy.
negotiation kind of. Like I was allied with a whole bunch of people, but then they attacked me anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you play cards. I think you play cards when you fight people in it. It's been a long time since I played it. Anyway, this game, the poor thing, like it got smothered in beer or something, and then he picked it up and it like went like it ripped through and it just like fell apart.
Oh my
So
god.
I mean that's bad. Yeah, you don't
Okay,
want that to happen.
okay. So 1817 is at the time. This is before they did the Kickstarter. 1817. They were handmade by a dude, and you would order them, and it took like 6 months to get it. So I ordered it, and
Right.
he just happened to
How
have
did,
one.
what was it made of? What was it made of? Like just
Uh,
normal stuff, but
it
he
was just
handmade it.
normal stuff, but they were hand done. They were hand glued and
Wow.
all that shit. So
Okay.
usually it took a while, and he had an extra one, but it still took like a few months to get it. So I got my 1817, real happy about it. We took it to the cabins. We're playing it. We have a lot of new players, and we had a player that took really long to do anything. She was very indecisive, so it took extra
Yeah.
long. The game would have taken 8 hours without her. With her, maybe 16. I don't know. It was really, it was really long.
But you
And
don't know, like as in you never finished it.
we didn't finish it because
Oh.
the teacher was teaching us, and he got. I guess he started getting tipsy because it took so long. He drank so much because he knocked it over. He knocked over his wine, and
Oh,
it
no.
fucked the whole game up.
Oh no.
Right. So he's felt so bad about it. And I'm like, fuck it. Things happen. It's just a thing. So
Yeah.
it's also his favorite game. He sends me his only copy because, he
Right.
fucked up my copy. So now I've got the wine copy that's half
Yeah.
red, and then I've got the non-wine
Right.
copy. But luckily they did a 1817 Kickstarter. Now you can get a new version that's
Right.
readily available. But anyway, yeah, it was horrible because it was like we were 8 hours in, 9 hours in. We weren't anywhere near finished, but we were in there.
You were invested.
Yeah,
you
we
were
were invested.
seriously
And then
invested.
the wine gets spilled,
Oh
and that
no.
there was some upset people.
Yeah. I can't imagine drinking and playing an 18xx.
Well, it usually
It's
doesn't
hard
take
enough.
18 hours.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I've done it many times, drink and play 18xx, but you can usually drink and sober up and drink again.
A game is sobering. Like any 18xx is sobering. I think that's just it would destroy my buzz. I don't want I don't want to play something like that and be drinking.
Sometimes it'll drive you to drinking when you're just waiting for your turn to come by.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah. I get tipsy after one drink, so it's be no good for me.
In the board game group, there's like people who, like, if they see wine or whatever on the table, they start like freaking out. That you
Why?
because they don't want to see board games get destroyed. They want to see them in
Oh, okay.
boxes in a shelf. They just want to see shelves with games in there, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get them to the table. Who cares if they get a bit ruined? I like that we're both not sleevers.
Yeah, I
Oh
do.
God,
I
no.
do have a
I
rule
nobody
though.
got time for that. What?
If a game is going to get expansions and it's going to get expansions, then I think it's possible to sleeve it. Because you don't
Why?
want.
That's like even less reason to sleeve it. It means you're gonna have to sleeve like forever, your whole life.
Right,
Every
right.
time
But
you
the
get a
thing
new
is
set, you got
that
to sleeve.
if I play a game with you and half the cards are worn and half of them are not, I'm going to use that. I will use that as an advantage. If I
Okay,
noted,
but no one's cards are worn. No one's cards are worn because
um,
no one plays the same game
you should see
over and over.
you should see some of my my games. There's some worn ass cards.
Okay, well that's good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. If anything, I get points for wearing out cards.
Yeah.
So, Gabriel, are you playing Modern Warfare like some of the other people? Or are you playing Sonic? What was it, Frontier? I don't see people playing that at all.
The new popular games.
The two new popular games that I know of. Oh, you said
You know
yes.
what I was doing? Ah, oh, enthusiastic.
Ah,
So it must be good. Three
he
exclamation
must
marks.
really like Sonic Frontiers.
I've never played any of the Modern Warfare games.
Same here. Same here. I haven't. I just missed it. I just missed it. Like I was in between consoles and shit, and I didn't get to really do it. That's my excuse. What's yours?
No, just
Guns.
playing other stuff.
You
Too
want
many
swords?
guns.
I want swords. I don't want guns.
That's not true. I like games with guns.
What game do you
I
play
don't know.
with?
You know me. I'm not an online. Is it online? I don't really
Yeah,
play online
it
stuff.
is
I
online.
play single player by myself. It's my me time. Video gaming is my me time. Everyone else can go away, except for when I play with my bro.
Mm.
We're still playing that No Man's Sky, and it's like, I swear to God, we play like an hour and a half every week, and it's one of those games where it's so involved that like I still don't know what's going on in the game. It's like
That
that.
hour
It's
and a
like
half is not
Valheim. You have
enough.
to. It's not enough. You don't do anything. Like it's like, oh, I went to this planet and I got some resources, and then I went to my base and I like built one thing, and it's so slow. It's very pretty, and like when you're doing it in VR, it's even kind of slower and more involved to do anything.
Have you ever thought
It's like
about telling your
trickier.
brother if you can have more time playing it? Like now that you're not at uni, are you considering it, or is it not really worth it? You like you like your allotted time?
Yeah, like well, it's just finding the time where we can both line up.
Mm.
Really, it's difficult. But I mean, I can always play without him. But yeah, but it's kind of, I guess it's kind of his choice, this one, anyway. So it's fine. But I do miss like playing we played a lot of like the slash, oh, what do you call it? Hack and slash
Like what game?
games? Like like Vermintide
Mm.
and back was it Left 4 Dead?
Oh
Those
yeah.
sort of ones where you're like a different character and you like those ones are a bit more action packed for me. I like those ones.
I've considered going back to Valheim, but because of the kerfuffle that happened when me and you were playing it,
Oh my God, that
I
was
kind of like
hilarious.
haven't gone back. I need to go back to justify the paying for the server, but
I wish that we'd streamed that. I really wish we'd streamed that because
yeah.
that was so funny.
So are
Gives you time to just get toxic.
are you one of those? We talked to actually offline. We were talking about like people and online communities and stuff. Gabriel, are you one of those people that like talks a lot of shit to each other and says a bunch of stuff you're not supposed to say to each other?
Seems like it.
Oh, I bet it
Yeah,
is.
it's like it's the thing. It's the
So
thing to
it's
do.
not any of the yes queen stuff. It's the other stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not into it. People can ruin things so easily. Why would you risk playing with people? We should try playing Elden Ring again and see if we can get that region thing to work.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, it sucks that we like I can't take the PlayStation over there and then play like side by side or some shit like that, and like that's way not going to happen. So I'm like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to figure out this region thing, and I don't think it's gonna work. It'd be cool if it does. I'd like to get back into it, but I won't know how to play.
Remember I saw that setting.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw the setting that you can maybe change it, so I don't know. We should try.
I would agree. Elden Ring's awesome. I've been far enough away from it though that I haven't looked back because I do want to go back to it, but it's kind of scary because I know it can really suck me in. Because I want to
Yeah, we got
kill those
we got
same
kind of
people
addicted
over
to
and
it, and then
over.
we. Oh my God, yeah. So Mo was just like killing trolls over and over again. Not trolls, giants.
Yeah, I didn't care
You
about
just go into Giant Hill and
mhm,
just killing them all. And I'm
just.
like, do something. Go explore. Yeah, the game was designed. Yeah, I agree. It has like everything in it. Everything you could
I
possibly
didn't
want
notice. I
is
didn't
in that
notice.
game.
I didn't notice.
No, you didn't notice because you weren't exploring that.
I wasn't
You were
exploring
just
at
killing
all.
giants.
Right there, close to the front, right where you start.
I know, and I'm like, oh, did you get this? Did you get the oh, what is it? The physic? What is it? The vial thing that you get from the shrines, the churches. Oh God, I can't remember.
And nope.
But I was like, and you were like, no, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's
I'm,
going on.
I'm
Just
just
killing
leveling up.
giants.
Yeah, I'm just grinding out over here, killing.
Yeah, Mo got like in this like serious competition with me where he had to ask me every 5 minutes what level I was at because he didn't want me to be ahead of him in level. Like, what level are you now? What level are you now? I gotta level up. She's catching up to me. I gotta level up.
That's all I was doing, just killing the same people over and over and over and
I
over.
know.
I miss that. I
That's
miss
funny.
killing those trolls.
And I was getting so pissed because I was trying to kill, I was trying to kill that dude. How many times did I try and kill that dude? The one with all the arms,
Mm-hmm.
the grafted
Yeah.
dude. And then you just freaking do it on like the second try or something. I'm like, what the hell? He's never even played a Souls game before. He just comes in and just
It.
smashes it like that.
I don't know. I think the game suits my style of play. Get out of the way, move, don't get close to them, be a wuss, stay in a corner.
Yeah, you went to. I kind of wish that I'd gone like with the magic user kind of thing instead of
It's
just
fucking
a
hella
tank.
powerful, man. Like,
Yeah, but it
is
won't be against everyone. You're gonna have your moment, okay? You're gonna have your moment.
as long as I can kill those same trolls in the same way, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh no, he
I plays the
started.
guy in the clock viper. Oh no, like there's a really
Oh
hard
my
thing.
god, yeah. So I remember Lennon just absolutely hating it, just for that, just because he started from ground zero.
Why did he want to start from ground zero then?
Because
If
he
he
assumed it was
already
like
thought
every
it was
other
too
game where
hard.
you would start at zero, and he didn't know it was like not like every other game.
Oh, okay. Club sucked.
That's pretty funny.
Well, should we stop talking and maybe start playing something?
Yeah, sure. We've already talked for about an hour. I really appreciate you stopping by, Gabriel. I hadn't seen you in a while. The tequila game's taking good shape. Actually, Sarah played it, a little bit of it.
I did. I
And
liked it.
it's interesting stuff going on. So things are
It
happening.
looks scary, but it's actually really fun when you're playing it. It looks terrifying. It looks like a spreadsheet.
That's good. That's really good. Cool. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get out of here. It was cool talking.
See you, Gabriel.
Yeah, catch you later, man. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this damn thing off.